Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 11th of January, comes to you from Fuerteventura in Spain. And I'm down here working, and you can see why I am down here working because it's rather gorgeous here. I was just working from my holidays terrace, just a lovely sunny day. So it's great to be working in shorts and a t-shirt and watching the markets closely, which I am. And yeah, there's a lot going on. We're seeing here mixed colours on the screen, but most of all, markets are recovering. The dollar index is down slightly. So remembering this is my long-term, medium-term and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and figure targets. So the dollar is coming out of the cloud long-term, and we are bullish for 2020 on the dollar. And that means that the euro dollar is therefore looking weaker. Medium-term, that trend is lower. We're below the cloud. We are seeing some respite on the short-term. Sterling sitting at 136. They're looking stronger there against the dollar. Interest rate expectations increasing in the UK. We've got targets to 138, 139 there. And against the euro, sterling looking especially strong above that 120 level, again with mixed upside targets. We've got Bitcoin sitting at $42,000, seems to have found a floor at that $40,000 level. Did just intraday go below 40 yesterday, but that's the important level now. And of course, we are still above the cloud on the long-term chart, and the targets to 83,000 are still in place. The S&P 500 index was down slightly yesterday, but overall, it's still holding on, and we have recently made new highs. And the futures are up 0.5% on the S&P. And 0.7% on the E-mini, so that's looking pretty strong. Europe's up pretty strongly as well this morning. The DAX in Germany is actually up 1.3%, so that's looking pretty strong. And we're seeing the DAX, the CAC 40 in Paris up 1.5%. Asian markets were down slightly. We saw Japan down 0.5%. India was actually up slightly, and China was down. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute. Gold is back above $1,800, so that's recovering again. We really have this long consolidation, really went nowhere in 2021, waiting for the move up. We've got some big upside targets if they can be activated, so watch for new highs there. And silver sitting steady at $22. We're looking at the bond yields. They are sitting in the 170s, really jumped last week. We saw that big candle there on that weekly chart, and that succession of moves, really interest rate expectations now very much in train. Looking at the energy mix, we put our report out this morning, of course, to clients. We were neutral on crude oil. We are now recovering, so looking stronger on Brent crude. US nat gas sitting just above that $4 mark. A little mini range there between $4 and $4.20, so that's a range to watch for breaking. Emissions, we were actually neutral this morning. We did have some downside targets, but since then, we've seen a succession of new upside targets kicking in. 80 is critical support on emissions, so we have to watch that. We were bearish gas yesterday and again today. And we're seeing TTF lower, just pushing below that range there, and the same with MBP, down 1.8%. And again, just struggling, heading back towards this low that we've got to watch really, that we saw at the year end, and quite a big fall from grace there. So that's what we're contending with. Looking at German power, we are up slightly this morning. This is rollover adjusted. You need to roll these charts after the big moves that we saw. And again, we're seeing downside pressure here for power markets, so one to watch. A new feature and Updata that I'm using more and more is the news where our reports are covered. So you can look at the stories, charts today, which is these recordings. You can access them from the news and Updata, and we'll increase this service accordingly. Looking at my global market report, you can see here quite a lot. We can also see we've got the week ahead, but the global market report is the big one. This is our monthly report, new to clients, and this really explains our ethos here. The very short-term reports we do daily, the weekly reports, very much looking at those charts. Then this monthly report is the medium to long-term, really what's going to happen this year, and then any big chart events we put out special reports like we have on carbon or power anytime something important happens like new price targets. So this report really covers the whole plethora. So all the currencies, government bonds, global stock markets, major stocks, all the energy contracts that you'll really want to keep an eye on, base metals, copper, steel, right down to cobalt and lithium, all the base metals, precious metals, soft commodities, things like ethanol, and then down to shipping rates as well. So really covering all the ground, giving you calls on what's going to happen, and you can just scroll through these charts. There's over 400 charts in these monthly reports that we now put out to clients in Updata. So really, really key information there. You go right through government bonds, all the targets given, the key levels, the critical levels to watch, the same with stock markets, right the way through to the tech majors, what's going on there. And then, of course, we're into the energy markets, base metals, seeing some iron ore, zinc, seeing some really big moves here. Look at tin with big upside targets, and we talk about these cobalt, lithium, and then we go into the precious metals right the way through. So these reports, now new in Updata, really a fantastic way of being able to scroll through and see what's going on in the markets. And of course, you can open any of these reports as you want. So we could look at energy news. We could go for yesterday's report, for example, and here we see. So you can always go back to these reports and see. So here we were bearish gas yesterday. Bold, of course, means a change, and the color coding is the traffic light system. And then you can just go through and look at the chart. So here were our calls on TTF and MBP. If you want to have a look at the reports, just let us know. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, lovely sunshine, happy charting. See you then.